Welcome to the Jboy Show, hosted by Jake Crain, the fastest growing sports show in the nation.
I'm Coach Hugh Freeze.
This is Super Bowl champion Brandon Graham.
Hey, this is DJ Shockley, and you're watching.
And thanks for watching the Jboy Show.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us again on the Jboy Show. Whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Like I said, I don't care if you're listening in a solo cup with 3 strings attached to it. As long as you're here, we appreciate you. Very excited to talk to a guy. One of my favorite guys to watch in college baseball right now is having a heck of a year. Going to get in depth a little bit, talk some hitting, talk about playing in the SEC. But before we do, I got to give a shout out to our partners at BetOnline.ag. Head over there. The online casino is always open. I know football's over. We got March Madness coming around the corner. I know everybody loves to bet on that. I know I do, especially in the first round. Like I said, there's going to be a 12-5. We just got to pick it right. So why not throw a little bit of bread on each one of them? Go ahead and hedge that bet, especially if the odds are in your favor, which they should be. But also as well, we know we got Major League Baseball right around the corner. The Rangers just announced they're going full capacity as well, which is big news. I'm sure you'll see that reverberate around the league. But without further ado, let me bring in a guy that I mentioned before, one of my favorite guys to watch, especially when he's at the dish in college baseball. One of the starters for Auburn, and we know how much success they've had going to the College World Series last year. Got another good chance to do it this year. We're still early getting into conference play, and that's Mr. Rankin Woley. Rankin, what's up, man?
What's up? Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, man, I'm excited to get you on. I know it's in season. You guys are busy. We're recording this actually on a Wednesday. Y'all just had a nice comeback win over UAB, a little midweek action. We know getting prepared. And, you know, Rankin, I want to start. And I always talk about how dominant the SEC is in football and how they're trying to make waves in basketball. But when you look at baseball, I mean, they're as dominant as any conference in any sport. Just what does it mean to you being able to say that you play in that league? And we all know how many scouts' eyes are on you guys every time you get in the box, every time you go out, just because of the brand and the type caliber of player that you have to be to play in that league.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that the SEC is the most dominant conference in baseball. I mean, you look at, I think the D1 baseball rankings came out this week. The top 5 were all SEC teams. And particularly SEC West. I mean, you want to talk about a loaded section of the conference. I mean, the SEC West with Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, Auburn, you know, guys like that, especially Arkansas. I mean, they're crazy. And I'm excited next week. You know, don't want to overlook this weekend series against Little Rock, but next week we open up with Ole Miss at Swayze Field, and they're going to be 100% capacity, which is going to be wild. So I'm happy we're getting some of that atmosphere back, and I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely, man. And again, can you talk about, and we know when you get in the box, you're zoned in on that pitcher. It's amazing what somebody throwing 95 will do to, you know, the outside crowd noise when you step in there. And I want to dive down into hitting a little bit more, but I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Coach Thompson. You got Coach Nonamaker, Gabe Gross. I mean, all these guys, Tim Hudson, all these guys that we know, number one, were awesome players and they're awesome coaches. But to me, what separates the staff is that they're real guys. They're genuine guys. They're always going to tell you what you think. How important that is to you as a player to be able to go in there and know that I'm getting the best advice that I could possibly get from somebody that cares about me, not only as a player, but as a person as well. I think that's why they recruit so well.
Yeah, I mean, not only you mentioned it, but the talent. I mean, those guys have been through it, you know, played in the big leagues, you know, held SEC records and stuff like that. But they're not just great coaches, they're great people too. And I think that's what makes Auburn special is that, you know, you're going to get taught a lot of baseball and you're going to get taught a lot more about life and what it means to be a great man and father and husband. And that's what they're trying to, you know, instill in us. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it's great being a baseball player, but you can only be a baseball player for so long. And Coach Thompson really wants his legacy to be, you know, what his players, you know, end up doing kind of with the rest of their lives and how good of men they become to be. And that's awesome. You know, a lot of places you go, a lot of the coaches are just kind of worried about their paychecks and stuff like that and bonuses and, you know, what the players can do for them. And I think Auburn's a little bit of a different mindset. It's more of like what they can do for us. And I think that's pretty cool. You don't see it a lot of times these days, but it's special. And I think we've got a great group at Auburn.
Without a doubt. And again, I know you guys are going to continue to have success. And, you know, Rankin, I want to talk about this season. And it's amazing. I always, in baseball, it's such a different sport than football and basketball. And I know you guys have been a little beat up in the bullpen and stuff like that from an injury standpoint and trying to get all the guys back. But can you talk about just using this pre-conference season? Because, again, that's what it is. The real meat and potatoes is going to start happening next weekend. You talk about RPI and strength of schedule and all that. You start racking up wins in this league, you're going to get a great seed, which is what you want going into the regional. But can you talk about how the pre-conference season is preparing you guys, kind of understanding when to bring guys in, or just the feel of the team? And you know what I'm saying, of getting yourself prepared, because when you go to a place like Swayze, y'all got to all be on the same page, because you don't just roll in there and win with a bunch of individuals. You got to know what you're going in there with, and you got to have each other's back, whether you're a pitcher that comes in as a setup guy that throws the seventh or the starting shortstop.
Yeah, I think a lot of this preseason is kind of figuring out, where everybody's role is going to be.
Yeah.
Obviously, we haven't been with Jack Owen all year due to a finger issue, but he should be back, hopefully next week or within the coming weeks. And it's going to be good to have him back, in a starting role. But you got to develop those guys out of the 100%. Bullpen, especially, and that's what the preseason allows for you to do. I mean, it's great in the fall, the inter squads and everything, but it's a whole different animal when you get out there under the lights and you're actually in an actual college game. Whether it's against, number one Arkansas or, St. Mary's School of the Blind. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're still playing a game. And that added pressure is a little different. And I think the most thing is Coach Thompson always says the players set the lineup. And I think that's what that does. You see who can handle the pressure, who can do it, who can perform, and who can't. And it kind of just weeds itself out that way. And it makes it easier kind of on the coaches to make decisions when, you got this preseason schedule. And I think we're going to be probably one of the most prepared teams, in the country when it comes to starting conference play with, we played in Round Rock. We played against three great teams and A&M, who's in our conference and
big
in our
win.
division in the West.
Big win.
And, which is a big win for us. Played Oklahoma and Baylor too. Baylor played a great game against us, and that's kind of all we can say is they just kind of, we lost that day.
Baseball happens. You know how it is at that level. Baseball happens.
Yeah, and we had a great game against Oklahoma. We were up big, and unfortunately gave it away at the end there. But Oklahoma threw three guys that were throwing 95 to 97.
Yeah.
Baylor threw guys that were throwing 93 to 94. A&M was doing the same thing. And then last week, Xavier has some COVID issues and canceled. So we scheduled BC, and who's the top 20 team. And they've got guys, serious contenders, and they're contenders in their conference as well. And you look at the teams that we're playing, I mean, those are serious SEC weekends that we've played. And I think that's all that's going to do is let our pitchers see hitters that are going to be similar, matched athletically to the guys we've got in our conference. And the hitters, can see the pitching and the speed of the game, the pace is going to be up there. And I think that's going to help us going forward for sure.
Man, I think you're exactly right. You knocked that one out of the park, pun intended, I guess. But, when you talk about baseball, it's such a confidence and such a visual thing, obviously. And again, you can hit 1,000 balls in the batting cage and off the machine and all that stuff's great. But you run a couple guys out there throwing in the mid upper 90s that got a few off speed pitches, maybe some guys that can really pitch backwards, locate that off speed. It's amazing how you do walk into those environments in the SEC and at home when, because it's always laugh, it's like, oh man, well, their Friday night guys really good. Well, now in the SEC, their Friday night guys really good. Their Saturday guys really good, and their Sunday guys really good. And by the way, they're bringing guys out of the bullpen that can do it as well, righties and lefties. And you're exactly right. You got to be able to be prepared. And Rankin, I want to talk hitting with you, man, because you're a guy that obviously has figured out a way to have a ton of success. And it looks to me like this year you're seeing the ball really, really well. You're able to use all sides of the field. And when you're facing guys, because I have people that ask, man, how do you hit a 97 mile per hour fastball, or how do you hit a 95 mile per hour fastball? When you get in that box, Rankin, I don't want you to give the secret sauce away. I don't know, anybody from Ole Miss or any of these other, places watching, but when somebody's throwing that hard, you almost have to think fastball and adjust, right?
Yeah, 100%. Especially when it gets up to that kind of velocity, you kind of got to sell out for one pitch. You can't sit there and be in between and think about, fastball's coming and breaking ball's coming. You got to sell out to one and make it your mission until you get to two strikes. And that's what I kind of do. I kind of pick a pitch, a lot of these, there's so much technology out there now that, we can see percentages of what guys throw and what count and what they favor more to righties and lefties. And so you can kind of, pick which one you're going to want to sit on. If you want to sit heater, you want to sit, breaking ball or whatever you want to do. But that's the kind of way you do it. I mean, you can get away with it if the guy's throwing 88 and be in between pitches and hit both. But, when you got guys throwing, 95 to 97, 98, you can't get away with it. They're just going to blow it right by you. It's just going to blow your doors off and you're just going to be sitting there, with your tail between your legs, walking back to the dugout after a K. So that's kind of the thing.
Yeah, without a doubt. And again, you're right. You almost get cornered into having to sit there and pick one. I'll be honest, you picked one the other night. You picked the right one. I don't think that ball's landed yet. I was afraid you're going to hit the power plant and blow up everything at Auburn. But, Rankin, again, experience too. You're a guy, you've had a lot of at-bats. You understand what you're getting. Is it something where, and again, you face different pitchers and they are creatures of habit. And you talk about the analytics of, listen, if we're 2-2, he loves going to the slider to righties. He wants to start it down the middle and bring it to the outside, or, guys that are able to throw splits. To me, it was always the circle change, or if somebody's throwing the hard slider that gave me the most trouble. But if there's a pitch, what is Rankin Woley's pitch? And I think I've got an idea of what it would be. If you could draw up the perfect pitch, what is it, and why is it the inside fastball that's a little bit elevated?
Yeah, the inside fastball is definitely a little fun. The only thing that gets me there is when I get a little too pull happy and
yeah, I feel you.
But when I see it and I stay, keep that front side closed, it's pretty fun with what you can get with it. But I always like to look away and just kind of react in. If I'm thinking in, then, I'm going to get beat away by a little soft slider or something like that. But, I mean, this is like my 5th year now playing college baseball, and 4 of them have been in the SEC. So I kind of got a general idea of how, these coaches and everybody are going to try and pitch me. And, I've got a little bit more kind of experience, handling adversity and everything. And, last year in those 18 games, I think I was hitting like 440 or something.
Dude, you're crushing.
And, came out this year and was really struggling at the start. Was squaring some balls up. I had that homer and some stuff, but swinging at pitches I really shouldn't have, and was getting a little too, amped up. But I kind of got with Gabe, our hitting coach, and, reeled some things back in and kind of found what was working for me in that year where I was having so much success. And past week or so has been very fun for me, getting a lot of knocks, and added another Jimmy. Went over on Saturday. Went a little dead center, which was fun. I haven't done that in a long time, but yeah, it's been fun. And the team's been hitting so well, and I'm just glad get up there with them too, up the batting average a little bit and go from there. So, but it's been fun. I'm enjoying it for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you can really tell, obviously getting in that groove, and it's baseball. It's just such a funny deal at the plate. It's, you go through your ups and you go through your downs. I tell people, it's amazing. Baseball is the only sport. It shows you how hard it is to hit, that you can get paid to fail 7 out of 10 times. But if you can get on those 3 times, it's amazing how much money you can make in the league and how long you can play. And that's why, it's I always find it fascinating. And I think you'll agree with me here. You watch guys in the major leagues, and you look at a guy like Noah Syndergaard throwing a 97-mile-per-hour slider. I don't know. I really don't understand how you hit that other than just running into it because you think it was a fastball, or you're just guessing right, like you said. But, playing in the SEC prepares you more than anything to have a chance to play at that next level. And Rankin, you're going to be a guy that has a chance to do that, obviously, with what you've been able to do. And you talk about hitting being contagious, and you guys really are as a team. Y'all look very comfortable at the plate. I mean, you can go down the list, Ryan Bliss, all these guys. You get up there. How much fun is it? And you kind of alluded to it. How much fun is it to watch the other guys go up there? And to me, when you have other guys that know how to hit, you can always get information from that at bat, and it helps you when you get up there. How important is it to have other guys that have good approaches that can come back in the dugout? Because I know you guys talk. It's like, hey, I'm getting this. I'm getting a little movement on this. It looks like he's feeling comfortable with this. How important is that?
Yeah, obviously, the guys, we get with them after their ABs and square it up. But I would say the most important thing, the thing that's been the best about having guys, just are raking right now, is that it takes the pressure off of you.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm up there, needing to hit a 6-run homer or score everybody, because I got guys behind me, that can do it. I can just take my walk. And I think that's been the most important thing, especially when I was struggling the first, 8 games or so. I was kind of dealing with a little bit of like a weird sickness thing. I missed those 2 midweeks, and I just wasn't really myself. And but it was, easy to just stay up on the fence, and keep a positive mindset and a positive vibe when, you got guys that are just running into balls and hitting homers and squaring balls up and, hitting 500. It's fun, scoring a bunch of runs. You're not even really mad that you didn't get it done. You're up there watching guys, get it done for you and picking you up and scoring a lot of runs. And I think that's been fun. I think it's, definitely helped me a ton, not stay down on myself, swinging at bad pitches and stuff like that. And I think that's been awesome.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. I think you're exactly right. And real quick, I do want to give a shout out to our partners over at eBay. Go to ebay.com/sneakers, whatever sneakers you want. They've got it, old, new, whatever you're looking for. Make sure you head over to ebay.com/sneakers today. They've got a whole team of authenticators. The logo is going to be right. The box is going to be right. The tongue, the laces, everything that goes in to that cobbler or whoever making that shoe, it's going to be exactly what you wanted. So head over to ebay.com/sneakers today. We're here with Rankin Woley. If you haven't watched this guy get in the box, you need to. He's fun to watch. Rankin, as we're kind of winding down here, as we get in, and I want to kind of divert it back into conference play. When you guys are going to an Ole Miss or you've got an Arkansas at home, how excited are you and you guys as a team? Because this is why you came here. That you came here to play in these games under the lights in front of people that, are screaming your name and rooting for you. Can you just talk about how excited you are and you guys are as a team to get into conference play and really go see what you're made of?
Yeah, I think, with the injuries that we've had, it's going to be really fun when we get everybody back.
Yeah.
Clicking on all cylinders. And you mentioned the, bomb stadiums, the Swayze fields. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, that's what you want to go play. You want, 10,000 fans screaming everything in the book at you, going crazy, because it makes it that much more fun when, you hit a go-ahead homer or you get, take the lead from them and they're all clapping because they think, they're going to get something done, and you just absolutely just slit their throats. And, it's awesome. It's just like a deafening silence. And, everybody in your dugout's going crazy. It's awesome. It's crazy. We did it a couple years ago at Mississippi State. They had the new dude and everything. And Stephen Williams and I went back to back. To kind of expand the lead off of, Ethan Small, who was, the best pitcher in the country that year. And it was cool. It was cool. I mean, they have everybody going absolutely, crazy. And, you just hear, just silence. It's awesome.
Hey, that ping of the bat and everybody shuts up. It's amazing, man. That's why I always say, like, listen, especially coaching, playing at home is great. Love playing at home from the home crowd, but there's nothing like shutting everybody up. There's nothing like, exactly the reaction that you're getting. That's something, correlated directly to what you did. And Rankin, you guys went to Omaha last year, and it's something to where when you go somewhere like that, you, number one, know the formula it takes to get there. And you get hungry because you guys obviously didn't win it. And you have the capability to win it, that you deserve to be there. How much did that experience for the guys that came back and the new guys too, you getting them to understand what it's going to take? Talk about that experience and how you guys are going to use that this year to try and get back. Not that you can just hang on to everything, but there are things that you can take in moments, whether they be good, bad, to be able to use toward this year, because that's the pinnacle, man. Omaha is the pinnacle. That's what we all talk about. That's what we all dream about when you're playing travel ball tournaments, when you're 12, 13 years old, wherever you're going, it's something you dream about going and playing in that tournament, which is the ultimate tournament in college baseball.
Yeah. I mean, I think the main thing is that we just know what it looks like. We know what it looks like to get there. It's not perfect, and there's no, cookie cutter mold of teams that get to Omaha. I mean, you look at the team that we went, to Omaha with. I mean, we were losing a bunch of games. People were saying there's no way that they're going to even make the playoffs. And all of a sudden, you get hot at the right time, and you go take a regional from Georgia Tech, and you go into North Carolina and you score 13 in the first inning.
That was
Sunday.
Unreal, dog. That was unreal.
You go to Omaha and you look at that team at the beginning of the year, and nobody's hitting well. We're not playing well. We're not winning games. And that's the thing. It's like for this year, we haven't won. We've lost a couple games that, we should have won and series that we definitely easily could have won. It's not that different from what it was, a couple of years ago. I mean, it's just, that's why we know nobody's panicking. Everybody's just ready and locked and loaded to go. Everything's different. And I went my freshman year with LSU also when I was there. And so that was a completely different team than the one that I went with, in 2018 or 2019, wherever we went. I think 2019. And so, I've seen two different teams that have gotten to Omaha in two different ways. And one had a bunch of older guys, one that had a bunch of younger guys. And so it's kind of just more about believing in yourself and getting hot at the right time. I think that's the most important thing. It's, when Coastal Carolina went and won the whole damn thing, it too gets hot at the right time.
That's so true.
And that's the most important thing. Obviously you can't lose midweeks and you can't lose games like that you need to win, but you don't get swept. You win, series here and there, you may even sweep somebody. And that's kind of the recipe for it.
Yeah. And you're right. There is no one way to skin a cat to get to Omaha. It's almost like basketball. You don't want to, you always want to play great. You always want to peak, but you don't want to peak too early. You want to be playing well toward the end of the year and getting that groove. And you guys know where the whole team's feeling it. The pitchers are feeling it. The hitters are feeling it. Everybody's gassed up. Everybody's excited. And my last question for you, Rankin, and this is what I'm most excited to ask you. Give me your best memory in college baseball. Doesn't have to be in it bad or a playmate or whatever. Just give me one. And I know you've got a bunch. I mean, shoot, you should pretty much rent a room in Omaha the amount of times you've been there. But give me a memory to you right now that you look back on and you go, man, yeah, that was nice.
I would definitely say the double I had at North Carolina to take the lead in game 2. I think that was game 2 or game 1. That was probably one of the coolest moments I've ever had, just in terms of, getting that hit at the right time and scoring 3 runs and going ahead and winning a game. I think that was so cool for me personally. But I think the coolest memory just in general had to have been Stevens' home run.
That was huge.
Georgia Tech.
Woo!
That was just, I just remember, being on first. I got on with 2 outs after that kid had struck me out 3 times, I think. Got on just trying to pass it down to Steven. And I remember being on first and, taking my secondary and hitting it and just, screaming profanities in my head and just blacking out as I was running around the bases.
Crazy.
I don't remember anything. I literally was screaming and going crazy and just completely blacked out. And, he touches home and we win that game and end up winning the regional. So I think those two, kind of just that run in general, was just so cool. I mean, that's probably just the best memory ever.
Yeah, man, it's kind of like Will Ferrell in Old School when he's having to debate James Carville. He just, blacks out for a second, just absolutely. Yeah. Did you have a feeling he was going to hit one, Rankin? Were your spidey senses tingling, or were you just, because we all hope, but sometimes, and Steven's such a good hitter, man. And he's a guy that, especially if you throw it in a certain spot and he catches it, it's going to go a long way. Did you have an inkling, or were you just like, listen, let's keep passing it down. Let's keep passing it down. See if we can't get something rolling.
Yeah, I think, a lot of it was just passing it down, but I do remember thinking like kind of, the Days to Confuse line would be a lot cooler if you did. I was sort of sitting there in my head thinking like, it'd be a lot cooler if he hit a homer right now, like just something like that. I didn't think he'd hit it, but I was like, it'd be a lot cooler if he did. So
that's awesome.
Sure enough, he goes up there and whacks that one, and that was sweet. That was so cool.
Well, it never happens if you don't get on base, and it never gets to that point. And there's so many little things that go on in the game that, when the big moment happens, you think, yeah, that's it. And then you go back and you watch the tape and you're like, oh my gosh, you look at other games around. I mean, I think, Alabama playing South Alabama boots 2 balls, 2 double play balls to end the game. And then you hit a walk-off granny. People forget about the 2 booted balls. It's an amazing game. Baseball, it's the beautiful game to me. But Rankin, man, I really appreciate you. This has been awesome. I know you guys are busy this time of year, and man, good luck to you. Keep doing what you're doing, and obviously going to be keeping up with you, man. Where can people find you on social media if you want them to follow you? You know what I'm saying? Where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I think the Twitter is just rwoley4, and my Instagram is just Rankin Woley. all lowercase. So I'm all over there. Yeah, I just post some good content sometimes. And
Oh yeah, no, it's good. I gave you a shout out
yeah.
on Twitter the other day after the home run, man. I found the ball in my backyard. I don't know if you wanted it or not.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's hilarious.
But man, I really do appreciate it, man. And I'm sure we'll talk again, and best of luck to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right, Rankin. And I appreciate you guys joining us. Head over to YouTube, hit subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, head over to thejboyshow.com and get some merch. If you weren't a student athlete, Rankin, I definitely send one your way. Wink, wink. But anyways, appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like I said, it's been another episode of the Jboy Show, and Jboy's going, gone.
The Jboy Show is produced by David Cohn, Technical Director Dave Hammock, Creative Director David Culbertson, Audio Engineer Feyzan Shareef, Production Assistants Blaine Crain and Kyle Orr, Executive Producers Jake Crain, Vince Thompson, Steve Chamberlain, and David Cohn. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit our website, thejboyshow.com, for updates regarding our newest apparel and merch designs. Win the water cooler with the Jboy Show.